welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to do another declutter, and I'm just gonna try a different angle. So my camera is like facing right down in the center over my vanity. I've pulled out my foundation, setting spray, and powder drawer, and we're gonna hopefully go through this and create some more space because as you can see, oops, that's my life and what I'm dealing with right now. Before I jump into that, I do want to give you guys an update on my past 3 declutter videos. So my first video was an eyeshadow palette declutter, and I have added to that declutter. So the first palette I've added is my Naked 3 by Urban Decay. Now, this is a true love of mine in the sense that I love the color story. I've always loved the palette, and then I used up most of the shades in the palette, and then I went and purchased this one a couple years ago, maybe about 2 years ago, and I just don't reach for it. Some of my favorite shades, I do believe I have like in a single form, like Liar and Mugshot. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I do, and I just, like I said, I don't reach for it, and it's just sitting here, and I'm tired of the just sitting here. I want to make room and have a collection for things that I get excited to reach for every morning, and so it just needs to go. It makes me sad, but it needs to go. I don't think I'm going to regret it, and I'm going to pass it along. Next, this is a Natasha Denona 5-pan palette. It's called the Peak Eyeshadow Palette. This was in my November BoxyCharm, and this was like a highly coveted palette. A lot of people wanted it in their BoxyCharm. I was excited that I got it because I thought this was limited edition, meaning I thought these were brand new shades for BoxyCharm, and they're not. So there are 5 shades in this palette, and they are shades pulled from her other palettes. If you watch my videos, you know I am a diehard Natasha Denona fan, so therefore I'm pretty sure I have the majority of her palettes. And I already have some of these shades. It's just not worth me keeping. Now I think what I'm going to do is keep the packaging and just put these shades in like a Z palette and pass it along to my sister, or I think one of my cousins will really like this, just so they can try out the formula and get a feel to see if, you know, if this is a brand that they'd want to try out. So I'm going to pass along the shades, keep the palette, because I'm going to use the palette to create my own little color stories to use like in my weekly makeup basket. So passing those shades along. Next, I have my 2 Juvia's Place palettes. This is the nudes, and this was in a recent monochromatic project pan that I'm doing on Instagram. I love that project pan because it makes me choose items I don't normally reach for, and it really, I mean, I use them throughout the month so I can determine, is this something I want in my collection or not? Now, I love Juvia's Place formula, however, I don't reach for this palette. Like, I wasn't excited to reach for it. I wasn't excited to use it. These 3 shades, well, these 2 shades are way too sheer, and it was very hard for me to get them to build up on my eyelids. These 2 shimmer shades I felt were very dry on my eyelids, made my eyes look dry and crepey. So I'm going to pass this along. Now, I do love her formula. I have my eye on her palette that's similar to this, but it's the Taupes. I've seen multiple reviews on it. I think it's something I'll really enjoy, so I do want to pick it up because I think the shades are something I'll be more drawn to. The Warrior by Juvia's Place. This is an excellent palette. If you're looking for a palette like this and you don't already have these shades, I definitely recommend picking this up. Creamy, buttery, smooth formula. These mattes blend like a dream. This is a very, very well thought out color story. You have a lighter shade, you've got a darker shade, you've got your mid-tone, and then even your shimmers or your metallics range. So you've got, you know, a lighter shade you can use all over your crease. You can put lighter shade you can use all over your lid. You can also use the darker shades all over your lid for a more deeper look, or you can use those in your outer corner in your crease to really just add some depth to your look. Don't be afraid to put a shimmer shade in your crease. It can really look beautiful. So anyways, this is a wonderful palette. I'm just not reaching for it because I'm reaching for, like, again, my Natasha Denona over it. So I would rather it not sit in my collection and collect dust. That's what I'm trying to get away from. So again, I think one of my sisters will really enjoy this, or one of my cousins. So those palettes are being decluttered. I've got 4 primers that I'm adding to my declutter. My Benefit Professional, definitely going to my sister. This is one of her favorite primers. And I like my Tatcha Silk Canvas better. I've compared them. I've used this for long enough that I feel comfortable moving it out. This Soft Focus Glow Drops from Rodeo that I got in my BoxyCharm. I have used them. They are nice, but I enjoy something like my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base or my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I'm not a huge primer person, so this Dermablend Instant Grip Jelly Primer, this does make your makeup last longer. However, this is very thick and tacky. I recommend the Milk Gripping Primer over this one. It's a little bit thinner and it still makes your makeup last all day. So definitely decluttering and passing that along. The Revlon Prime Plus didn't do anything for my skin that my Tatcha Silk Canvas does, and I prefer that one over this one. This made some of my foundations look a little bit heavy on my skin as well. So passing all of those along. Next, I have 2 concealers. I have been noticing and feeling like my under eyes, after I do my makeup, like my dark circles still shine through, and I always thought I needed a heavier duty concealer. So here I am purchasing all these full coverage, heavy duty concealers, and I came to realize that my concealers, some of them are just too light, so it's making my under eyes look gray. If your under eye concealer is too light, it's not going to camouflage your dark circles. So these 2 are just way too light for me. The formula's nice, I really enjoy them, but the color's just not it for me. So I will be passing these along. Okay, so now for the big daddy. This is a drawer that holds my setting sprays, foundations, and powders. I'm going to try to move quicker. I started to film this video once before and my mic was off. And I was like over 30 minutes in and I had only gotten a little bit of the drawer done. So I'm just gonna try not to be as wordy with my explanations. So I'm gonna start with the setting sprays. And the first one I see is the Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. This is a very large size. It's the 8.11 fluid ounces. I got a really nice deal on this. It was on sale one day and I purchased it. That is something that was purchased around this year, like I think in September, and I enjoy it. It's a tried and true. I go back to it. I will keep it. I love setting sprays and I use them, so I do go through them fairly quickly. This is the Scandinavia Makeup Finishing Spray. This is their bridal version. I'm honestly not sure the difference between their bridal and their regular version, and if it's even a difference between these 2. However, this was recommended to me by quite a few makeup artists around my wedding. I got married this year with everything going on. You know, we obviously had to tone down our wedding and have a more intimate event, and I ended up doing my own makeup for it. So I just was looking for some products that would do well for the day. So anyways, I purchased quite a few setting sprays this year because of that. And the kicker is, I think I forgot to use setting spray that day. However, I'm going to hold on to this because I do enjoy it. If you use a setting spray to make your makeup last longer, I recommend spraying your face before your foundation as well as after. So next I have the Maybelline Glass Spray. So I have 3 different, what I consider to be dewy setting sprays. The Catrice Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Fixing Spray is probably my favorite. I bought this on recommendation from Taylor Wynn. I use this when I use a powder foundation. I use this if my makeup looks dry, heavy, or cakey, and it gives such a beautiful finish to the skin and really melts your makeup together. So I definitely recommend that. Next, I have the Maybelline Glass Spray. I purchased this recently this year, and I purchased it because the Catrice one was out of stock and I couldn't get it. So I thought this would do the same thing. It is definitely a dewy finish spray. However, it leaves, to me, it leaves like a kind of greasy, oily residue. And I don't mean necessarily on my skin, but it clearly does, because when I spray, you know, when you spray your setting spray, it does get on items around you. So like my phone will be greasy, or the products on my vanity will be greasy. I mean, I can spray it on my hand and you're not going to notice a difference, but it gives a good finish, but it's very oily feeling. So I'm going to pass this along to someone that wants that type of finish. Me, myself, it just doesn't contribute to the longevity of my makeup. So definitely passing that on. My MAC Fix Plus, I don't purchase this on a routine basis. This larger bottle was on sale, so I picked it up. And I use this, honestly, to wet my brush for eyeshadow application when I am doing that. I like using this. The Catrice is too glowy for me to do that. So I'm holding on to those 4, and I'm going to get rid of the Maybelline. I will just go ahead and jump into foundations. So I'm going to start with ones that I know are staying. And my Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue foundation, I do have this in 3 shades. I have the shade 1N2 Ecru, 2N1 Desert Beige, and 2W1 Dawn. So this is a typical thing for me with Estee Lauder foundations. Their undertones, like a neutral undertone to them, still leans pretty pink. So I typically have multiple shades that I mix throughout the year depending on what my skin tone is like. So this shade is definitely more for me in the summer. This is like kind of in between. I could wear this at any time, but it's going to look a little dark. And then this is my mainly like winter shade. So I do use all 3 of them. These are just 2 like recently purchased because I was using the 1N2 Ecru and it just wasn't working for me. So I was trying to look for a little bit of a deeper shade for my wedding, because this is the foundation I wore on my wedding day. And so I ended up with this, mixing these 2 together. Anyways, I'm keeping all 3 of them because I will use the shades. This is like a tried and true, really nice everyday foundation for me. Let's see here. The other one that's staying is obviously my Estee Lauder Double Wear. I say obviously as if you guys know, but you probably don't. I also have 3 shades in this. Let's see here. I have 1N2 Ecru, 2W1 Dawn, and then 3W1 Tawny. Now, I think I could probably get rid of the tawny shade. And my mom might actually like this. I should offer this to her. It's definitely a deeper shade, and I have not gotten much wear out of it. This was heavily discounted at Ulta. I had an Ulta around me that was closing. I purchased it thinking I could mix it in for my summer shade, and it's too deep. I don't get that deep in the summer, especially with how much, you know, as I get older, I definitely am more aware of using sunscreen. So I think I'll be fine with the Ecru in the Dawn shade. So I'm definitely going to hold on to these though. This foundation will forever always be in my collection. Another foundation, and by that I mean like this is probably the 10th bottle I've purchased. So The next foundation that will always be in my collection is my Lancome Tinty Doll Ultra Wear. I have this in the shade 210 Buff, and this is a beautiful foundation. If you are looking for something that's maybe not as heavy as the Estee Lauder or doesn't look as heavy on the skin as the Estee Lauder, beautiful finish on the skin. I really love it. It goes on well with a brush. Beautiful with a brush, beautiful with a sponge. And this foundation has one of the best transfer proof foundations that I have, where when I take my mask off, I don't see my makeup all over my mask like I do with my other foundation. So definitely recommend that, and that will be staying. Another one that's really great under masks is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation. This gives a beautiful finish to the skin. This is not overly matte, it's not overly dewy. It's really what it says is more of a comfortable matte, probably more of a satin finish, I would say. I have this in the shade Porcelain, and this is another one that I've been using quite a bit because it looks beautiful under a mask. So when I take my mask off, I don't have, wear away around where the mask is. I don't have transfer, anything like that, because I do still wear a full face under my mask. I know a lot of people don't. I do. So yeah, I definitely recommend this. I will be holding on to this. I do know this was on sale at Sephora for $20. It's like 20 something dollars. So I don't know if Too Faced is discontinuing this. That would be a real shame. I don't enjoy most of their products, and this is a really nice one. So I did purchase one. It's on its way to me because I purchased a backup. Because if they are discontinuing it, I want another one, and I only paid like $22 for it. Oh, I have a setting spray here that it looks like I forgot. This is my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is also a newer purchase to my collection. I will be holding on to this. I do enjoy it, and I recommend using it before your makeup as well as after. Speaking of Charlotte Tilbury, I'll just grab my foundations from her. I have her Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I have this in the shade 1 and the shade 4. I am a shade 3 for her. However, this is the first foundation I purchased from her. I was trying to figure out my shade online, and this is what I ended up with. I like this. This is definitely long wearing. It has more of a satin matte finish. It does look nice on the skin. It does okay under a mask, and I for sure recommend this. I don't think it's holy grail for me, but it is a beautiful foundation. I would definitely repurchase it, but I'm obviously going to be set for a while. So I'm holding on to that one. The next Charlotte Tilbury is the Magic Foundation. This also, I think, lasts a good amount. I mean, it lasts all day for me. It's more medium coverage, and I will be hanging on to it. I have the shade 3 in this foundation. Her last one that I have is the Light Wonder Foundation. I again have this in shade 3. This is more of a thin consistency, definitely more sheer to buildable medium, more of a like glowy, dewy look, nice luminosity to the skin. I really enjoy this. This is a nice everyday foundation. It just doesn't last under a mask. So this is a good foundation for me when I'm not working and in the summertime. However, I'll hold on to that. Next, I have the Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. I have this in the shade 1.1 Fair Light. I bought this based off of recommendation from Tati, and it does not look as good as on me as it does her. So this looks like a heavy cakey foundation on me. Obviously I have some other foundations that I enjoy, so I will be passing on this one. Next, I have my Zoeva foundations. These are called the Authentic Skin Natural Luminous Foundation. I have it in the shade 140N and 140W. I do mix these together to get my perfect shade. This is a nice, long-wearing, luminous finish foundation. Again, it's not the top of the top under a mask. I already gave you my recommendations for that. But it's a nice long wearing foundation. Great everyday shade, or great everyday finish. Like I said, it's not too matte, not too dewy, and I love this foundation. I've used quite a bit out of it, especially because this was a purchase for me probably in the last 6 to 8 months, definitely during 2020. So I will be holding on to this and continue to use it. Next, I have my Guerlain L'Essentiel Natural Glow Foundation. This is supposed to be a 16-hour wear foundation. I purchased this based off of recommendation from Taylor Wynn. Most of these, not most, but quite a few of my foundations are based off of recommendation from her. And I will buy anything that girl says that she likes. And most of the time, she's correct. So I have this in shade 02W. This is supposed to be more skin-like. I've worn it a couple times. It is beautiful on the skin. However, I need to try this more to get a good idea of my thoughts on it. To be completely honest with you guys, and this is like I think a $70 foundation, and I forgot I had this. This was like hidden in this drawer, so I'm really glad I'm doing this video, and I'm actually going to set this aside so that I can make sure I test it more and have a good understanding of how I feel about it. Another love of mine is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better foundation. I have this in the shade Fair Neutral 11. This is beautiful, exactly what it says it is. It's definitely your skin but better. It is medium coverage. It's definitely a radiant finish. And for me, it lasts all day. You know, it's not like a 14 to 16 to 18, whatever, hour wear foundation. It's not my Estee Lauder or my Lancome. However, it does last all day for me. Beautiful on the skin. Definitely a really nice winter foundation. So definitely will be holding on to that. Next, I have my Smashbox Studio Skin 15-hour wear hydrating foundation. I have it in the shade 0.3 Fair Neutral. So I used to love this foundation. I think this is my third bottle. I ran out of it, waited about a year, purchased it again, because obviously I have other foundations I was using, and it's just not the same. It doesn't blend out well on my skin. It doesn't last as long as it used to, and I just have other foundations that I enjoy over this, so I will be passing that along. Let's see here. Next, I have my Sephora Matte Perfection Tinted Moisturizer. I again purchased this because of Taylor Wynn. It's nice, but I do want to use it more this summer. I do think it's a little bit too mattifying for my skin in the winter, so I'm going to set this aside as well. I actually made a note in the calendar on my phone to try it in the summer months, so I'm going to try that again. One that I purchased based off of Jessica Braun. I actually purchased the wrong one, but I thought this was the one she was talking about. This is a CoverGirl No Olay Simply Ageless. This is really, really pretty on the skin, you guys. This definitely surprised me. I have it in the shade 227 Golden Beige. I went, I bought it, I like it. It also was hidden. I kind of forgot that I had it, so I do want to bring it into this pile so I can try it a bit more. Next, I have the Lancome Regenerate Lift Makeup. This is supposed to be 12 hours, and it's supposed to be hydrating and give you a good radiance, and I agree with everything that it says. It does last all day for me. It has a beautiful finish on the skin, definitely luminous, and I actually like mixing it with my Tinty Doll Ultra Wear when I'm looking for more of a luminous finish. So I have this in the shade 260, so it's a little bit deeper than my Ultra Wear. However, they mix really well together, so I'll be holding on to that. I have this sample bag of the Face Atelier foundation, and I have some different shades, and then I also have some mixers, and I'm holding on to this. This is a great foundation, and these samples, although they weren't crazy up there in price, I want to hold on to this and try this out. It's definitely more of a like natural to luminous finish. It's probably a really great everyday foundation. I do like it has the little mixers in there, so I'm holding on to this for now, and I'm going to put it in my try more pile. Okay, so next I have this LA Girl Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment. I again bought this for my wedding because some of the girls in the wedding I thought may have to use some of my products, and I just wanted to make sure that I could lighten the foundation if needed. But we didn't end up using this, and yeah, I'm gonna get rid of it. I don't need it. If I do need something like that, I have it in that Face Atelier sample pack. So I'll be getting rid of that. I have a couple foundations left. I have my Skin Perfect HD foundation by Kokie. I have this in the shade 20W. I recently purchased this. Honestly, I've not used it enough to be able to give any sort of opinion on it, so I'm going to add it to my pile right here. And all of these are going to stay in my weekly makeup bag. These two foundations to me are similar just in the sense that they give a sheer to light coverage. So they're both buildable. They're both very hydrating, and I enjoy both of them. Are they long wearing? Not necessarily. Definitely not going to last under a mask all day, but I do enjoy them. However, I feel like I need to pick between them, so I want to compare them and try them out a little bit more. So I'm going to put them in this pile over here. Oops. So, I mean, that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 foundations that I need to figure out and make a decision on that I probably shouldn't have purchased in the first place. But, yes. So the last one is the Too Faced Do You Full Coverage Fresh Glow Foundation. I have it in the shade Snow. I don't enjoy this. It's very heavy on the skin, very thick, and I don't like this at all. I feel bad being like that rude about it, but it's definitely glowy. It's definitely full coverage, and I kind of feel like I was putting like a thick face cream on, and I just don't want that from my foundation. So I will be getting rid of that. So only got rid of 4 foundations, 1 mixing pigment, and then 1 setting spray, but I mean, that's better than where I was, right? So I'm gonna end this video right here because I think it's long enough. I do appreciate you guys for watching. If you wanna see how this goes, stay tuned because that video will be coming up on my channel. It's just gonna be separate. If you guys like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you can see how I do with my powder declutter. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.